So this is an extract from the beginning of the book, which is the London section, appropriately enough, given the title of this workshop. So, chapter 1. I did not think he was a snake. Emma hurried around Warwick Square as the bells of St. Gabriel's Church began to chime. She never left enough time to walk from Victoria Station. Maddening. Breathless from climbing the stairs of the Georgian townhouse, she entered the meeting room. Her colleagues were clustered around the mahogany table, looking tired and irritable. Fliss, the garden designer, stood in front of the bay window. Sorry I'm late, Emma said. Sketchy overground trains. My fault entirely. I hope you weren't waiting for me. She sat down in the empty seat near the window. No problem, said her boss, Perry. The new Leanne is giving us a garden update. You haven't missed much. Emma could see Fliss was mortified by Perry's dismissive attitude towards her garden designs. Fliss had joined Peregrine Cassidy Designs 6 months ago when Emma's best friend, Leanne, left to go back to Dublin, but Perry still could not remember her name. Go on, Fliss, Emma said with a kind smile. We're all ears. What's the latest on gardens? I'm nearly done, Fliss said, looking to Perry for guidance. He was staring past her at the leafy trees of Warwick Square, fluttering in the breeze. Fliss continued, I just finished a prairie-style roof terrace over in Shoreditch. It has a meadow feel, overshadowed by the London skyline. I installed a vertical garden made of ferns as well. It was my first one. Key plants included sedum, allium, lavender. That's enough, no need to list them all, Perry interrupted, waving at Fliss to sit down. I have some good news. Now you're here, Emma, I might as well share. We have a new pitch. Emma poured herself some coffee from the silver coffee pot in the middle of the table, forcing her tired mind to focus on what Perry was saying. She had been struggling for weeks with bad insomnia. It was important that she keep up at work, otherwise Perry would give the best projects to someone else. This is the job for us, Emma. You're going to lead on our Dublin development, Perry said. He gloried in being part of the old school, having set up his design studio in the heart of Pimlico back in the late 1980s. But he was always alert for new business opportunities. Who knows what's going to happen to British hotels in this uncertain market? Did you know over 70 hotels are due to open in Dublin this year? We need to get in on the action. Sounds like we're in the wrong city, Emma said, smiling at Perry. She felt a flood of relief that Perry had picked her. Exactly, Perry agreed. We must evolve and expand. Richard Eustace, a dear friend of mine, has agreed we can run the pitch. We're supposed to bring some London sophistication to the whole thing. Most of the people moving over to Dublin are involved in tech, so nothing too Victorian or fussy. Think Shoreditch House cool. A library for events, photo booths, and terrifically dry martinis. Maybe a few good rugs? Perry's favourite hobby was collecting antique rugs. After running out of floor space in his flat in Chelsea, he purchased a place up in Norfolk to house his vast collection of 17th century Mughal carpets. Mughal carpets in the entrance hall, of course, we have to have those, Emma said. She knew her audience. Velvet armchairs and lampshades that looked like a bride's skirt, she extemporised, wondering if her suggestions were a little too conventional. All she had to do was to keep it together for the rest of the meeting. She glanced at Perry, hoping that she'd done enough. Peregrine Cassidy, Perry for short, was as bald as a coot and wore immaculate clothes in subtle tones of grey and blue. Cheered by Emma's chirpy response, he smirked back at her. Emma knew that Perry loved positivity, even if it was fake. He could be inspirational when he was in a good mood. At drinks parties, he liked to tell stories of the good old days when he was given in free rein by an oligarch to furnish a replica of Versailles. Emma had been taken on as an intern straight out of university, and she had worked tirelessly for him for 8 years. Perry was convinced that Emma had it, whatever it was, and made a pet of her. Emma, you have all the relevant experience. Start putting together some ideas. We're meeting the clients tomorrow, or one of the brothers at least, so we haven't got long. Elgin will want something original. He's particularly difficult to please. Bring me some of your Emma magic. Absolutely, Emma chirped with a sinking feeling. Now she had an immediate deadline. She usually enjoyed pitching new ideas and charming, challenging people, but she was emotionally spent and so tired. She left the weekly team meeting with her head humming. Normally, she would have called her father, who had been a construction foreman, and talked through her ideas for the pitch. Just the sound of his voice used to steady her. He would have been delighted that she might be going to Dublin, where he was born. Emma stopped on the stairs on her way up to her desk, overwhelmed for a moment by loss. The bells of St. Gabriel's chimed the half hour. At least it was not long until she could go home.